What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Conversation Station. This episode, we're going to be going over the Avengers Doomsday cast, announced over on X yesterday. It's a pretty long event, took quite a while, and honestly, everybody was really curious if they were actually going to slowly go chair by chair announcing everybody that they announced yesterday, and they absolutely did. Took quite a while, and it was a little tedious for everybody watching, but, it was cool of Marvel to do. I mean, I understand why they had to do it, like, slow as they did, just because so many people wanted to see, and, you never know who's going to be joining and at what time, and people have all different things going on with, life, so it just gives people extra time to get in and see who's, being cast. Obviously, it was a very long list of people, and I'm not going to go through every single name, just the names that popped out to me and made me most excited. I don't think this is the full cast list at all. I think this is just a little drop in the bucket. This is going to be over a 2-hour movie, so hopefully a lot of these characters and the other characters that I assume are going to be in the movie get plenty of screen time. That was the biggest worry between me and the other person I was talking to about this. It's just everybody's screen time. Hopefully we're not getting super small cameos. Hopefully it's a little bit of a played out story between the characters we love. But yeah, let's just get into all the people we saw on that list. So starting out, the first chair was Chris Hemsworth, so that was really cool. Thor's coming back. Obviously we knew that was going to happen from the ending of Thor Love and Thunder. Thor Love and Thunder didn't get the best reception, but I enjoyed the movie just for what it was. It was a fun little movie, but it Christian Bale was fantastic. He just did an amazing job as Gore. So, that the enjoyment of the performance versus the ridiculousness of some of the scenes of the movie. Some of the better scenes didn't get overshadowed. I personally enjoyed the scene with the kids getting imbued with Thor's power for a little bit. I thought that was pretty cool. Again, just one of those fun scenes, kind of ridiculous, but one of the more well written, and just I like that it was put in there, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, the fact that he's coming back, I hope they, take Thor in a more serious direction, and, let him be more of a, just a threat, not a threat, but, a force to be reckoned with, of God of Thunder, and stray away from this comedic, laid back, tone that they've gone for. So hopefully we get something different, something new, something a little more gritty and crazy and powerful with this performance of Thor. Hopefully that's what we see. The full cast of the new Fantastic Four movie, Joseph Quinn, Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, and Ebon Moss. So yeah, all of them are coming into the next Avengers movie, which is pretty interesting. I mean, they've obviously been absent from everything that's happened so far. So I'm really hoping they explain where they've been this entire time in the Fantastic Four movie, with either the end credit scene or something before Doomsday. Obviously, Doom is Fantastic Four villain as well as an Avengers villain, but mostly a Fantastic Four villain. So, Doomsday. And, the big reveal a few months ago was Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Dr. Doom. So that was, obviously a huge deal. Another list of people we have is some original X-Men cast members, and that was extremely exciting. We got Ian McKellen, Sir Patrick Stewart, Kelsey Grammer's coming back, I assume as Beast, obviously. James Marsden's coming back on Cyclops. Mystique, I believe, was in there too. The names obviously we didn't see were a little, not worrisome, but it's just obviously the list isn't done yet. Alan Cummings coming back for Nightcrawler. We got, Channing Tatum, Gambit. So obviously with Channing Tatum being in the mix, I don't believe we're going to get the original X-Men universe that we're thinking of, unless Channing Tatum's Gambit gets pulled out of the void, as we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine, and and that was his original team. That's why his team, I don't know, maybe they're going to tell some kind of story with that. So whether or not that we're going to get, the original team, or this is going to be like a multiversal telling and say, oh, these are different people, same people, different story type thing, is going to be, that's definitely going to be interesting to see. And obviously the big point is it was missing so many people. I mean, we're missing Tom Holland, we're missing Mark Ruffalo, we're missing Benedict Cumberbatch, whatever his name is. All these characters that we assumed were going to be there, but it's just that, that list isn't finished. Now, I'm pretty sure we're not going to see Tom Holland in that movie, just because he's filming 2 movies, both Odyssey and Spider-Man 4. But, you never know. It's Marvel. They can do whatever they need to do. And having an Avengers movie without Spider-Man seems kind of crazy, even if it's just a little cameo or like references to what he's doing in the city. That there's got to be something because it's an Avengers movie and Spider-Man is an Avenger. So I think there's going to be more references to Spider-Man and whatever's going on in his life versus it being actually. But again, we still have to get through the process of everybody forgetting who Peter is and how that's going to play out. And so that's going to be interesting to see how they work that out and work it out between this movie and the coming Avengers movies, both with Doomsday and Secret Wars. So with Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doom, that's obviously like a big stick in the spokes. It's a big, it's going to cause a little bit of a stir up. People are wondering how it's going to, play out with the whole him being Iron Man, obviously, and things like that. But honestly, we know Robert Downey Jr., we know how he can give a great performance. So it's like him being a villain, us getting to see this other side of him is extremely exciting. I personally, like my personal prediction, and there's no like evidence to back this up, but I just don't think Robert Downey Jr. is going to be like the full specific like set Doom in that universe. I think it's going to be a bait and switch. I think it's going to be Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom messing with the Avengers almost the entire movie until whoever the real Doom is like sees what's going on. Because again, we're dealing with multiverse and different universes and things, and I think whoever the real Doom is, that would be like a big reveal, would step in and essentially just push Tony's Doom off the board and basically reveal that it's an Iron Man variant trying to be Doctor Doom, which would be interesting. Not that I think that that's what's going to happen. Like, obviously, I could be completely wrong, and he could end up being Doom for like 6 movies and be great. That could end up be what happened. Like, it happens. I don't know. But if it's not, and they go in the direction of like, because having him come back and take off the mask and having nobody acknowledge it is definitely going to be kind of weird. But we'll see how it goes. A lot of the expectation is like these two next Avengers movies need to live up to the hype of like Infinity War and Endgame, and it's like personally I don't want them to be anything like that. I don't want them, because Infinity War and Endgame were the ending of an era. They were the ending of that saga. So it's like this is the beginning of something. I really want to feel that. I don't want to feel completed by the end of these movies. I want to feel ready for more. I want to feel ready to jump off to the next point, but after both of these next Avengers movies, because I want this to be a jumping off point. I don't want another completion story. I want more to be excited for, because that's obviously what we have with Endgame till we can build to some type of conclusion with that story, and with those actors and the actors who grow with that story over time. So hopefully it just makes sense. I mean, that's always the worry with all of these movies, is whether or not they make sense. I mean, everything with the multiverse is a little jumbled up. I personally didn't like the last season of What If. It had its cool moments, but there was a lot of it that was just kind of a mess. And I've heard like rumors that they want to put animated characters into some of the live action stuff that they're working on. And honestly, I'm not kind of like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit type situation. And honestly, I'm not super hyped about that. I hope that's kind of like a false rumor they're just putting out there just to misdirect and not have too many leaks, and if there are leaks, have it be fake leaks. But with the way Marvel is, you just never know. And the hope is that this all just feels right, and like I said, feels like something that's worth going to see and worth continuing and worth being a fan of. Because these movies are definitely, just as I've said before in many other videos about these movies are just supposed to be fun. You're supposed to enjoy them, go see heroes and people do things on CGI screens that we don't get to see in real life, get to see comic books and stuff in comic books reimagined in ways that we couldn't have imagined. And that's the biggest fun about these movies. We know it's all fake. We know it's all, ridiculous and guys in spandex and stuff like that. Like, I know. But it's just fun. It's fun to watch. I really enjoy them. And, that's the biggest thing to remember. Just have fun with these movies. And I hope they are fun. I hope we get to see some really cool storylines. And, nothing gets ruined. I guess there's rumors like Feige's watching the production based on the Russo brothers' last movie not doing so well. But I don't know. Their track record with Avengers and Marvel stuff is pretty good. So I think we can, we can have some trust. Now, I don't think this would be a regular Conversation Station episode without me showing off at least one comic. So I'll show off this one. And this is Doorway to Darkness, Chapter 2, The Gathering. and it's Ghost Rider and Doctor Strange. And then on the other side, it is Male Bonding Part 2, Wherever We Go, starring Wolverine and Nightcrawler. So I found this, and it came in like an actual like Ziploc, and it was in like heavy packaging, and it doesn't seem to have a case. It's just, or like a cover, like the covers are just, or it has like some fraying right there. So it seems like whatever the outer piece was, it might have been ripped off. But it's a double story, and the first story is just about Ghost Rider and Strange helping a kid, but they also come across a guy, I believe he's called like the Phantom Rider or something like that. So that was pretty cool. So really, I think it's like a little story in between this guy right here. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, this story has some really great shots of both Strange and Ghost Rider. And I believe this came out in the 90s. I've looked it up on the computer, but I was having trouble finding like stuff about the stories. Let's see if I can get that one. Look at that, bam. Ghost Rider just interrogating a guy. And then right here we got Doctor Strange. Yeah, and then on the other side it flips and it turns into an upside down because you got to flip it over and then the other story starts. So that's kind of cool. Some great artwork with Wolverine and Nightcrawler. Really good stuff. Yeah, I was super happy to come across this one. When I seen it, like I said, it was in a bit of a different bag, like a little bit bigger, so I thought it was just like some kind of magazine or something. But when I looked at it and I seen it said Marvel and I seen Wolverine and Nightcrawler on it, I was like, oh, I gotta have this. Like that picture of Wolverine on the front is really what sold me. And I was like, oh snap, like I just gotta have it. But yeah, soon gonna record a trip over to where I get my comics and see what we can find over there. Definitely gonna have some more content coming on the GoPro. But, you know, as always, I appreciate any time you spent watching my videos, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.